JP, when it comes to Willson Contreras, it's almost as if the writing was on the wall. But was there ever a chance that he was going to go out there and accept that qualifying offer?
Cole, good evening. I would have been surprised. I think the industry overall expected him to reject it. There are going to be some very strong multi-year offers out there for Willson Contreras, whether it's the Cardinals. I know it's a hard notion for Cubs fans to take, but they are one of the teams that needs a catcher right now. The Tigers also are in the market for a catcher, as are the Astros, who we know certainly had an interest in Contreras during the course of the season as well. So those right now, those three teams, Cole, seem to be the big three to get Willson Contreras in free agency, and he is certainly top of the market, best catcher available. There is a catcher available in trade in Sean Murphy, the young Gold Glove winner with the Oakland Athletics. But I know listen, this is a tough and emotional time for Cubs fans because we know just how important he was to that organization through 2016 and since then, and certainly now it's going to be on to a new team for Willson Contreras.
Now, JP, as we know, 14 players were extended a qualifying offer. A pair have accepted in Perez and Peterson. So taking a look at some of the guys who may not accept that qualifying offer, is there anyone who you see the Cubs putting their crosshairs on? Anyone in the target right now?
I do, Cole. I'm looking at pitching because I was told that they had actually talked with Tyler Anderson before he signed with the Angels today. And so that means that I look at the other starting pitchers out there, especially Chris Bassett and Carlos Rodon, both of whom have some ties to the Midwest. Of course, Chris Bassett's from Northwest Ohio, and he actually pitched for the White Sox initially. I thought he had a really solid season in that star-studded Mets rotation. And now Carlos Rodon, of course, we know he began his career with the White Sox at the major league level, and you look what he has done now. I think for Rodon, the key number is on the lower left-hand side of the screen, 178 innings. With Rodon, the question has always been health and consistency. When he's healthy, you see that whip down there really close to 1. He's been in the zone more often. He's been on the mound more often. When those two elements are true for Rodon, he is, with certainly exceptions to Verlander and DeGrom, I think Rodon's probably the next major free agent pitcher out there. Certainly, we'll talk about Kodai Senga probably in a moment as well.
Hey, JP, we're talking about the big four. The shortstop position, right? This is time we get to spend some good money. And you look at the north side and you look at the guys out there, Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, Carlos Correa, and I'm missing one, Dansby Swanson. Who you think better suited for this team to bring their talents to the north side?
Carlos Correa, Cliff. I love Carlos Correa with the Chicago Cubs for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think Carlos Correa loves them. Carlos Correa loves the fact that he had a great workout there on the north side for the draft. He's always had a special spot in his heart for the Chicago Cubs. And when you consider that and his desire to play for an iconic franchise, if you take the big picture here, he just saw his successor, Jeremy Pena, win the World Series MVP award playing his old position with his former team. Carlos Correa wants to do something big. We know this. He has been on the map, on the radar since he was a rookie. I think for him, signing with an iconic franchise that plays in one of the great sports institutions of our country, like Wrigley Field, that's a statement. And to say this team that's been out of the playoff picture for a few years, we're getting back there, and I'm going to help us get there. That narrative, to me, speaks, I think, to the Cubs, to a lot of Cubs fans. I think it's what Correa wants, to be in the spotlight again. And I don't see another team out there that needs him as much as the Cubs do, and vice versa. I just love that pairing right now. I say go long on the shortstop to bring in Correa. That allows you to maybe go shorter a bit with potentially a Jose Abreu at first base or maybe a shorter-term starting pitcher. But take that big investment, Cliff, that you're talking about and go big, go long to bring in Carlos Correa.
So if you're talking big investments, JP, let's switch over to starting pitching. You just talked about the needs of the Chicago Cubs in starting pitching. Are they ready for Jacob deGrom, Justin Verlander, or do you go down the road of Taijuan Walker, Jameson Taillon?
I think Walker and Taillon are more of what I think the Cubs are looking for, and I would also add Kodai Senga as well. To me, you can't get everything. Obviously, you can't prioritize everything, which is why I say go big to get Correa, and then Kodai Senga for me is a really, really good possibility. I've seen him pitch certainly in the World Baseball Classic 5 years ago, dynamic against Team USA. He has one of the great pitches in Japanese professional baseball, which is the shuto, which is like a forkball splitter combination, kind of similar to Gossman in some ways. It is a devastating pitch against lefties and righties. And so I believe for Senga to come over, that pitch would flummox a lot of pitchers, a lot of hitters in Major League Baseball right now because they simply don't see it very often. So I love Senga. Throw the shoe toe. He's going to come over. I think the Cubs would be a great fit for Kodai Senga here in 2023 and beyond.